You know how when you go to your favorite Mexican restaurant or even Chili's and you get those cheesy, gooey Southwest egg rolls, they have the crunch, they have some spice, they have a sauce to die for. They're just so delicious, and wouldn't it be nice if you could make something like that at home? Well, I'm here today to tell you you absolutely can, and that's what we're about to do. When I was first playing around with these things, I did okay with the egg rolls, but I was kind of at a loss for a sauce. Yeah, you can mix up some dressing, buy some store-bought sauce, but I wanted something that just had a wow factor. One morning I got up and I started experimenting with things, and I took an entire English cucumber and blended it in the blender and added different seasonings to it. And that was it. That was just this wonderful, bright, beautiful cucumber sauce. So we're going to start this recipe by making that sauce now. I don't have a large English cucumber, so I'm going to use 3 smaller ones, and I'm going to top and tail those. And we're going to give them a rough chop just so they fit into the Ninja blender. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, as a heaping actually. Half a teaspoon of onion powder. Again, I'm going to round it off. I'm going to add a seasoning blend. What I did was I bought a dry package of McCormick Smoky Ranchero spice that you would actually cook something in, and I put it into a spice jar, and for that I'm actually going to go a whole teaspoon. So let me throw 2 halves in there. And that's going to have the spicy blend that we want to bounce off of the cool of the cucumber. We're also going to add mayonnaise and normally sour cream, but I have some people in the house that don't do well with dairy, so I'm going to use Greek yogurt in its place. And we're going to add a half a cup of each of those. Half a cup of the Greek yogurt in the place of the sour cream, and it's got that thickness that sour cream would have. I need the juice of a lime, and I forgot a squeezing device, so I'm going to use a measuring spoon, and I'm going to add chopped cilantro. Salt and pepper. So this is not as full as it looks. Basically the yogurt and the mayo are holding everything up top. When I bring this in the house to run on the Ninja, it's actually going to be down at my max fill line, so I'm not misusing the Ninja, in case you're wondering. Next time you see this, there's going to be a whole lot of green going on. So, there we go. Look at that sweet thing. For the sake of simplicity, I want to show you that there's so many different ways you can make this recipe. Now, if you had a rotisserie chicken left over, you could go ahead and select pieces of chicken off of that, shred them up into small pieces, and use that as your protein. I broke 1 egg over it, a teaspoon of cornstarch, some cumin, and some of the spicy ranchero, just a little bit to give that chicken some more flavor. And I gave it a splash of apple cider vinegar because that will really help define the other tastes. By boosting that acidity a little bit, it will always take that flavor to the next level. And that's what we're looking to do here, because chicken by itself, boneless chicken breasts, they're kind of bland. I'm not using frozen corn, although I have many times and I can, but I am actually going to use canned corn. Black beans are stored in a syrupy brine, so I'm going to want to wash that off in a strainer. For the spinach, lots of spinach. We're going to just chop this down into ribbons. Again, I could use frozen spinach if I want. Just make sure you take it out early enough. One box, 16-ounce box of frozen spinach would do the trick, chopped spinach. In this case, I'm just going to shred it up like this. One can of diced chilies. I found at Walmart a really neat variety of these in which they are fire roasted green chilies. That is going to add some serious flavor. Everything's rinsed. Black beans, white corn, spinach, chilies. Okay, time to get onto that chicken. I'm going to fire up the stove. Chicken going in. Wonderful. There's absolutely no sticking going on in the frying pan. While that is going, I'm going to add my other ingredients into a larger bowl. Spinach in, corn, black beans, green chilies. The chicken is getting to that point where it's about 75% cooked. I want it about 90% cooked. Next in our bowl of goodies here, I'm going to add a teaspoon and a half of cumin, half a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon and a half of kosher salt, which that should be actually right about there, a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper, I'm going to go a little bit more because it's sticking to my spoon. A little cracked pepper for good measure. 4 stalks of chopped scallion. I'm going to mix that all together. I want that spice to get into all the vegetables. Shredded Mexican blend cheese. So we're gonna eyeball that. Almost one. Let's go. I call that one. Can't really go wrong with this stuff. I'm gonna get that mixed in here, and the reason why I want it mixed into the vegetables while everything is still cool, because that chicken still has some heat to it, and when I put that chicken in, the cheese is going to pretty much melt. So I would like the cheese to be blended in the best I could. Right here, I mean, this right here would already be great. Now I do have some liquid in this chicken that it rendered, and I really don't want to take that with what I'm doing here. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep it from going into my mix. I'm going to separate that into one of my bowls on the side. Chicken in. While that's getting hot, I wanted to tell you about these wonderful tortillas I've only recently started using. They're a 50-50 mix of flour and corn. I just can't wait to see what happens when you deep fry these things, because usually I use flour tortillas for this recipe. So this is going to be excellent. I'm sure that they're going to be crunchy and maybe a little more exciting. I'm going to take a scoop of this and place that on my egg roll. Fold and turn around this way. Actually, I think I could use a little bit more. You want to be careful, because if these things tear, they are no fun. Fold in the sides, then the side closest to you, tuck it in and roll like that. They will not stay this way. That's why we have the toothpicks, and we kind of do a stitch where we go down through both of the tortillas, and then we kind of pinch it and push it back through. Then you have to remember to take the toothpicks out before you eat them. So promise me that. Sides in, over, tuck. I'm putting pressure all the way around, but I'm not being hard on the tortilla itself. And then I roll. Toothpick at the ready. Stitch it up. I once sold these at a farmer's market, and the night before I rolled 200 of them, and the whole prep time to get everything ready took me close to 7 hours. So the moral of that story is, if you want to make these, and you want to make a lot of them, get the people who really want to eat them to help you. Another time I made them at work, as some of you know, and people volunteered, and we had a blast the night before doing these up to this point. Placed them in the refrigerator, and the next day dropped them in the oil, and they were good to go. We made the sauce, we pre-made everything up to that point. This is a time I could really use some music. You all keep your Michael Jackson jokes to yourself. I won't tolerate that sort of thing around here. That right there, man's best friend, I'll tell you what. Guess what? We get to see what's happening. In they go. Getting some nice light golden brown on that. Sweetness. Going to be the new standard. Absolutely. This is a part of the show where I do something really crazy. What is it, you ask? Pepperoni. This is sandwich pepperoni, and I just couldn't help but wonder what this would be like. Actually, to finish cutting it like this, I should have just rolled it up and cut it into ribbons, but that's okay. It's one of those things I gotta know. It may be the worst thing in the world, but I'm saying let's find out. I ran out of gas again. It was probably one of those no, don't do it, Mike moments. I gotta know. This is like 10 pounds of love right here. It actually kind of weighs that much. Fantastic meal. We get the beautiful golden color of these egg rolls. The flour and corn mix actually was very nice, handled very nice. I didn't rip any tortillas. So I think it's a winner. Hopefully they taste as good. And I'm going to put together a plate for our final presentation with the sauce.